The regrets of a nursing home. 6 hard truths that will haunt you. The profound insights of age. At 82, I've gathered a wealth of experiences, yet one choice haunts me. The fateful decision to step into a nursing home. In that moment, it felt like the only choice to make. My family urged me on, their voices filled with promises of care and comfort that would envelop me like a warm embrace. I placed my trust in them heart and soul. Yet, upon my arrival, I discovered that the truth was a stark contrast to the vivid images I had conjured in my mind. Many of you may find yourselves contemplating this choice, whether for your own sake or for someone dear to you. Perhaps you believe it's the most secure choice, or maybe others have convinced you that it will simplify your life. Before you take that step, let me reveal 6 crucial insights I wish someone had shared with me before I made the move. The reality is, life in a nursing home is not merely about convenience. It transforms everything you know. Once you step inside, escaping becomes a far more complex challenge than you ever imagined. Stay by my side until the very last moment, for some of these lessons may catch you off guard. If you know someone on the brink of choosing a nursing home, this video could be the crucial insight they need before embarking on a life-altering journey. Let the adventure begin. Regret lingers, a haunting shadow, losing my independence. The greatest jolt after stepping into the nursing home wasn't the cramped quarters, the rigid meal schedules, or the sea of unfamiliar faces. In that moment, a chilling truth washed over me. I had relinquished control of my own existence. Before I stepped into this new chapter, my life was governed by familiar rhythms. I took control of my own awakening, choosing the moments to nourish myself and the way to fill my hours. The freedom to wander at will, to craft my own culinary delights, or to sink into the comforting embrace of my favorite chair, lost in the pages of a book, was a luxury I cherished. Yet within the confines of the nursing home, a stark truth dawned upon me. My time had slipped through my fingers, no longer belonging to me. Every moment ticked away according to a clock that wasn't my own. Breakfast arrived like clockwork, a ritual I had to partake in, regardless of my appetite's whispers. When the clock struck the designated hour, the lights extinguished, plunging the room into darkness, regardless of my readiness to surrender to sleep. Shall we step outside for a walk? Permission may be required, and you may find yourself waiting for someone to become available to lend a helping hand. What once were simple decisions, what to eat, what to wear, began to feel like rare privileges, elusive and precious, rather than mere everyday choices. The memory of my first week there lingers vividly, as I awoke in a bed that felt foreign, a stark reminder of my new reality. I jolted awake, my body yearning for movement as I reached for the book that had captivated me in the quiet of my home. But as I scanned the room, a sudden realization washed over me. This place felt foreign, a mere shadow of what I once knew as home. All that remained were echoes of my books, the embrace of my favorite chair, and the little comforts I had painstakingly gathered over the years, now vanished into thin air. All around were cold, sterile walls, and a solitary bed loomed in the center. It wasn't my decision. A haunting sensation gripped me, a realization that I had lost control over my own existence. The most challenging aspect? Understanding that the moment you relinquish your freedom, reclaiming it becomes a nearly insurmountable challenge. Survival demands it. You bend and shift, compelled by the relentless tide of circumstance. The moment they reveal what's for dinner, all arguments fade away. You cease to inquire about the freedom to wander whenever the urge strikes. As you navigate their intricate web, a part of you begins to fade, swallowed by the very structure you strive to belong to. As you contemplate the choice of a nursing home, pause for a moment and reflect. Are you truly prepared to relinquish the precious little freedoms that define your life? For when they vanish, the ache of their absence will grip you tighter than you ever imagined. A heavy sense of regret lingered, a haunting feeling of being forgotten. One of the most challenging revelations of entering a nursing home is the stark realization that life beyond its walls continues to unfold, indifferent to your absence. As I stepped into the unfamiliar surroundings, my family promised me that their visits would be frequent, a comforting assurance amidst the uncertainty. At first, I placed my trust in their words, and they delivered on that promise. Once a week, my Claire would visit, her presence a beacon of warmth in the quiet of my home. Every weekend, my Ethan would come to visit, filling the house with laughter and joy. For a fleeting moment, It seemed as though the threads of my past life still wove through my present. Yet, as the months slipped away, the visits dwindled, becoming a rare flicker in the shadows of time. My Claire began to reach out with her voice instead of her presence. My Ethan became engrossed in their studies and jobs. The holidays loomed like a dark cloud, heavy and foreboding. They all swore they would be there, yet time and again, the fates conspired to unravel those promises at the very last moment. In that moment I was alone in the dimly lit common room, the air thick with unspoken longing. Around me the other residents fixated on the door, their eyes filled with a desperate hope that today might finally be the day someone would come for them. Someone would remember their existence. It wasn't that my family ceased to love me. Life suddenly intervened, casting shadows over plans and dreams. In the silence of your absence, others weave their own narratives, convinced that you are thriving, adapting seamlessly, and that your need for connection has faded into the background. Yet, as time drifts on within the confines of a nursing home, the stark reality emerges. The deeper you sink into its routine, the more those who once cherished you may begin to overlook the profound ways you still rely on their presence. One evening I found myself alone in my room, the weight of my phone heavy in my hand. As I wrestled with the decision to reach out to my son, I feared becoming a weight that others had to carry. I held my breath, reluctant to break the silence, knowing that my presence lingered like a ghost in the shadows, waiting for a visit that might never arrive. As I set the phone down, a wave of realization crashed over me. This was my existence now, a silent observer as the days slipped away, yearning for someone to reach out and pull me back into their world. As you contemplate the decision to enter a nursing home, pause for a moment and reflect. Are you truly ready to face the solitude that may await you? For no matter the depth of your family's affection, the moment you slip from their view, it becomes all too simple to fade from their thoughts. If you're still with me in this moment, captivated by these insights, drop a number 2 in the comments below to signal your presence. Let's connect in this journey together. Don't let the chance slip away. Subscribe now and ring that bell to ensure you catch every thrilling video as it drops. Now let us press onward into the unknown. Regret 3: the haunting absence of my once clear purpose. As I stepped into the nursing home, I believed I was merely shifting my residence. I had no idea that my very reason for living was shifting beneath my feet. Within the walls of my home, a weight of responsibilities loomed over me. My days were filled with rituals, passions, and a driving force that pulled me from the depths of sleep each morning. Every little act, from nurturing the plants to brewing my own coffee, and even organizing my surroundings, filled me with a profound sense of purpose. Yet within the confines of the nursing home, those cherished daily rituals faded into oblivion. Meals were crafted just for me. The cleaning had been entrusted to another, leaving the space transformed yet untouched by their own hands. The plants, once vibrant and full of life, now stood as silent witnesses to a chapter closed, no longer under my watchful eye. Initially, I convinced myself that it would be a welcome relief to finally unwind. Free from the weight of chores and the burden of responsibilities, only the sweet embrace of rest remains. Yet, as the weeks slipped by, an unsettling emptiness began to gnaw at me. The days dragged on, each one an endless expanse filled with the weight of anticipation. I witnessed it in the other residents as well. Once vibrant souls, now reduced to mere shadows of their former selves, spent their days in a haunting stillness, eyes fixed on the horizon, as they awaited the relentless march of time to carry them forward. In a quiet town there lived an old man named George, aged 84, whose hands had shaped wood into wonders for as long as he could remember. Within the confines of his home, he transformed the mundane into the extraordinary, tirelessly mending broken items and crafting intricate projects in the dim light of his garage. Yet in this desolate place, he found himself stripped of tools, devoid of projects, and bereft of anything to ignite his creativity. I observed him as he gradually pulled his hands away, once powerful and deft, now resting motionless in his lap. "I feel useless," he confided in me one day, his voice heavy with despair. In that moment clarity washed over me, and I understood his words on a deeper level. Without a purpose to nurture, without a goal to strive for, the essence of life begins to fade into shadows. As thoughts begin to wane, the body succumbs to the stillness. Before long, You begin to sense that you are merely another inhabitant in a realm where time flows, yet everything remains eerily the same. As you ponder the prospect of a nursing home, take a moment to reflect on what truly infuses your life with purpose and significance. For once you settle in, the quest for purpose becomes a labyrinth, far more complex than merely occupying your hours. It's a relentless battle to cling to the very essence of what ignites your spirit and makes you truly feel alive. A deep sense of regret loomed, as health deteriorated at an alarming pace, catching everyone off guard. Before I stepped into the confines of the nursing home, I was thriving, defying the expectations that come with my years. I may not have been conquering marathons, but I was more than capable of holding my own. Embark on invigorating walks and craft my own culinary creations. My days were woven with small rituals that propelled me forward. Grocery shopping, the gentle stretch of my muscles each morning, and the simple act of wandering through my home, each step fortifying my legs for the journey ahead. But once I crossed the threshold, everything transformed. Initially, it felt as though I was merely savoring a moment of tranquility. Meals arrived at my doorstep, freeing me from the confines of the kitchen, where I once toiled over the stove. Whenever I found myself in need, a simple push of a button summoned a figure ready to assist me. Little did I know that with each moment I neglected my own needs, I was slowly unraveling, becoming a shadow of my former self. I froze in place, and before long, a heavy stiffness crept into my legs. As I sank deeper into the cushions, time slipped away unnoticed, and soon, rising from the chair became a daunting task, a struggle against the weight of inertia. The muscles I had dedicated years to sculpting were vanishing at an alarming rate, far quicker than I could have ever anticipated. It wasn't only me. I witnessed it unfold for others as well. Once they strode confidently on their own 2 feet, but now an unforeseen twist of fate had them dependent on wheelchairs, their lives irrevocably altered. Once fiercely independent, they now found themselves grappling with tasks that had once seemed effortless, their lives transformed in ways they never anticipated. With each act of assistance that came our way, an insatiable hunger for more grew within us. I recall my neighbor, Alice, the Frinid Waziris Chabarziratunkum, an 81-year-old woman whose vibrant spirit lit up the neighborhood when she first moved in. Every day she strode through the facility, her determination unwavering, refusing to let a mere number dictate her pace. Yet, as the months slipped by, I began to observe that her steps had grown fewer and farther between. Then she began to rely on a walker, and soon after, a wheelchair became her constant companion. One day she turned to me, her eyes reflecting a depth of emotion, and said, "I don't know when it happened, but it feels like I've aged a decade in just a few months." It was precisely that sensation, an undeniable truth, that enveloped me. When you cease to engage your body, it begins to slip away from you. In a nursing home, a place meticulously crafted for ease, the essence of movement often fades into the background. Yet, beneath the surface, it becomes clear that movement transcends mere convenience. It is a vital thread woven into the fabric of survival. Had I foreseen the swift erosion of my strength, I would have battled fiercely to maintain my momentum, to remain engaged, to challenge myself relentlessly, even in moments of reluctance. As you ponder the choice of a nursing home, a question lingers in the air. Will the ease of life there extinguish your drive to maintain your strength and vitality? For when you finally pause, the climb back to your feet becomes a far more daunting challenge than you ever imagined. If you're still captivated by this video and discovering these insights to be invaluable, drop a comment with the number 4 below to signal your presence. Don't let the chance slip away. Subscribe now and ring that bell to ensure you catch every thrilling moment in our upcoming videos. Your unwavering support fuels our journey, allowing us to craft compelling narratives that inform and ignite your imagination. Now let us press onward into the unknown. Regret washes over me, a heavy tide of sorrow for the loss of privacy and dignity. One of the things I had not fully grasped before stepping into the confines of a nursing home was the staggering loss of privacy that awaited me. Within the confines of my home, I carved out a sanctuary that was entirely my own. In the sanctuary of my bedroom, I could shut the door, enveloping myself in silence, where I could choose to navigate the world on my own terms. Yet within the walls of a nursing home, the concept of privacy becomes a fleeting dream, often slipping through your fingers like sand. From the instant I stepped through the door, An unsettling sensation enveloped me, as if unseen eyes were tracking my every move. Staff flitted in and out like shadows, room checks were meticulously timed, and the shared spaces buzzed with a constant hum of activity, leaving little room for solitude. Even the most mundane tasks, such as getting dressed or using the bathroom, frequently demanded the help of another. Though I understood they were merely fulfilling their duty, it was a bitter pill to swallow, accepting assistance for tasks I had navigated alone for as long as I could remember. In that first week, I grappled with the unsettling realization that I now had to seek permission for actions that had once flowed effortlessly from my fingertips, actions I had performed without a second thought. Are you ready to step into the refreshing embrace of a shower? Patience may be your only ally as you stand by, hoping for the moment when assistance finally arrives. Do you find yourself in need of a restroom break? At times, the act of pressing the call button can stretch into an agonizing wait, longer than you ever anticipated. Even the options for meals felt painfully restricted. If the day's menu doesn't please your palate, you'll just have to accept it. But then the matter of roommates loomed large. Not everyone is granted the luxury of a private room. Sharing a space with an unchosen companion can lead to simmering tensions and unexpected frustrations. Fortune smiled upon me with a kind roommate, yet whispers of misfortune echoed from others, tales of trials that chilled the heart. Some found themselves sharing their space with roommates who were boisterous, neglectful of cleanliness, or grappling with challenges that turned the night into a restless ordeal. Yet, despite every effort to infuse your room with warmth and familiarity, it remains an elusive sanctuary, never quite belonging to you. Dignity is a fragile thread, easily frayed, and I never grasped the extent of my own unraveling until I found myself ensnared in its loss. When the door swings open without a moment's pause, when voices address you as if you were merely a case to be managed rather than a soul to be understood, when the rhythm of your days is orchestrated by someone else's design, it transforms you in ways you never anticipated. A creeping sensation washes over you, as if your identity is slipping away, leaving you just another name lost among countless others on a faceless list. As you ponder the possibility of a nursing home, a haunting question lingers. Are you truly ready to relinquish the privacy and control that have defined your existence for so long? For once it slips away, reclaiming it becomes a daunting challenge. Regret 6. A haunting realization that departing is far more challenging than it appears. Upon my arrival at the nursing home, I whispered a promise to myself. This was only a fleeting chapter in my life. I decided to take the plunge, to step into the unknown and see where this path might lead. If it turned out to be unwelcoming, I could always turn back. But little did I know the struggle that awaited me, the relentless grip that would hold me captive once I stepped inside. Initially, it appeared straightforward. If it didn't capture my heart, I could always retreat to the comfort of home. But home had transformed into something unrecognizable. The house loomed in silence, its emptiness growing heavier with each passing day. And the struggle to keep it from afar became an increasingly daunting task. My children had begun to take matters into their own hands, making bold decisions that sent ripples through our home. They sold off belongings they believed I could part with, and even toyed with the idea of renting out the place that held so many memories. As I broached the subject of our return, a palpable hesitation hung in the air. Do you truly believe you can handle this alone? Isn't it wiser to remain here, where the shadows can't reach us? Our only desire is to see you thrive. And then there loomed the shadow of physical decline. After months of residing in a haven where the burdens of cooking, cleaning, and even walking were lifted from my shoulders, I found myself diminished, my strength waning like a flickering candle in the dark. The independence I once cherished began to fade, transforming the thought of returning home into a daunting challenge I had never anticipated. Doubt gnawed at me, a relentless whisper that echoed in the corners of my mind, paralyzing my spirit and binding me to the familiar shadows of my past. I encountered others who shared the same haunting experience. What began as a simple decision to stay at the nursing home for a short time quickly spiraled into a realization that escaping its confines was far more complicated than they had ever imagined. As time stretches on, the grip of the familiar tightens, making the world beyond feel increasingly foreign and unwelcoming. For some, the choice vanished completely, leaving them in a stark silence of uncertainty. Once their home was sold, or their savings were depleted by the relentless tide of care expenses, There was no turning back. That's the secret no one reveals. Stepping into a new home carries the illusion of a choice that can be undone. Yet for many, it becomes an irreversible leap into the unknown. The nursing home envelopes you, transforming into your entire universe, and before long, the vibrant life you once lived fades into a mere whisper of a distant memory. As you contemplate the decision of entering a nursing home, pause for a moment and reflect. Are you truly ready for the reality that once you step inside, the path to leaving may be far more complicated than you ever imagined? Once you find your footing, the obstacles to departure, be they financial, physical, or emotional, can loom larger than you ever anticipated, ensnaring you in a web that's difficult to escape. If you're still with me in this moment, captivated by the insights unfolding before you, drop a comment with the number 6 below to signal your presence in this journey. Don't let the chance slip away. Subscribe now and ring that bell to ensure you catch every thrilling video as it drops. Your unwavering support fuels our journey, allowing us to craft compelling narratives that enlighten and ignite your imagination. Greetings to Mother. In the end, reflections linger like shadows, weaving through the tapestry of our experiences. As I reflect on my journey, I find no remorse in the passage of time, yet a shadow of regret lingers for having once thought that a nursing home was my sole path forward. I stepped inside, my heart filled with hopes of comfort, safety, and a life transformed for the better. What I discovered instead was a realm that gradually stripped me of my independence, my privacy, my purpose, and even the very essence of who I was. Does that imply that every nursing home is a place of despair? Not in every case. There are those who truly rely on the depth of care that is offered to them. Yet, before you take that leap, pause and reflect on what you might be leaving behind. For once you step inside, everything you know will change forever. If given the chance to rewrite my past, I would have battled fiercely to remain in the sanctuary of my own home, sought out every possible avenue for assistance without sacrificing my independence, and ensured that my need for change was genuine before committing to such an irreversible decision. As you stand at this crossroads, I urge you to pause and delve deep within yourself. Is this path truly the one that serves your deepest needs and desires? Or is it merely the path that appears simplest at this moment? The life you embrace today, your routines, your independence, your choices, is a treasure to be fiercely protected for as long as possible. We appreciate your presence with us today. Your thoughts are important to us, and we eagerly await your voice. Drop a comment below and reveal one insight you gained today, along with your plans to weave it into the fabric of your life. Your thoughts hold immense value, so let them flow without reservation. Your comments ignite a fire within us, fueling our passion and driving us forward with unwavering determination. If this video captivated you and provided valuable insights, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with others who might also be intrigued. Your unwavering support fuels our journey, allowing us to craft captivating content that informs and ignites your imagination. We appreciate your time spent with us, and we can't wait to have you join us for the next thrilling adventure ahead.